how they play a more even game. In terms of raw mechanics, team fighting, like in the last fight, we saw some good coordination with the Sunderings going down, the Horrify there as well.
Yep.
It's just a macro, like in terms of where people need to be going or when they need to be soaking instead of grouping, when they need to be grouping instead of soaking, like this sort of decision making. I think DeYoung is going to have to start yelling at people to be like, look, I need you in the top lane right now. Why are you coming down here with me? Like, we are just trying to threaten them, but we are now 5. They have 1 in top, 1 in mid, which means they're getting 3 times as much EXP as we are right now. And if we don't get, like, 2 kills and a or a fort wall here, this isn't worth it. Just that kind of macro awareness, I think, is missing.
Yep, exactly is what you said. And going into game number 2, it is going to be Cursed Hollows, as it is one of the most popular maps in Korean region especially, and we'll see if Raven can take it back this time, because they've been losing now 10 games I believe in a row. And I think one of the problems they're having is just having DeYoung as a solo tank, and even GG knew that problem, and Mighty picking Murden as the last one, having that heavier tank line in the front. Raven really, they're having a hard time trying to focus down on Varian, and even getting Ancestral, they were getting no picks. And when Ragnaros was just smashing and NMX getting 1 pick, they're actually focusing the right targets, the squishy ones. And then that's just how the team fight just went every single time.
Yeah, they're gonna take Malfurion first again, same skin even. But
hopefully a different play this time.
Hopefully. Well, yes. I mean, the thing is, it's not about we didn't have like terrible Malfurion player like missed roots, or he wasn't using his Twilight Dream at the right time. They had so much CC in the Horrify, the Silence, but they just didn't have. They were always down in talent tiers, so there was just not enough damage because they were down in scaling by 4 levels, etc.
Feels like they had they committed too much, and as we mentioned, stage dive is a better choice, especially when you can out macro with the stage dive. The opponent didn't have any global hero.
Well, are we just going to see the exact same draft? We're going to see Tychus ETC. No, it's going to be Tychus Dehaka this time. And that's already giving me a little, I might want to give a little thumbs up here.
Yeah, me
I
too.
feel like this change here, this adaptation, no pun intended.
And hopefully that is not their only frontline tank, as they often do. Dehaka's wit on ETC would also be nice, or even taking away Muradin because they already have Tychus would be an okay choice also.
Mighty may just ban ETC here. There's absolutely that potential there. They're going to take Gul'dan away instead, which is quite interesting considering that Raven already has damage on their side, and now can kind of control range damage.
But NMX's Gul'dan was pretty good. That Horrify and the positioning of where you place that Horrify he was basically dispositioning the one from the other 4 sometimes, and it didn't work out perfectly because they didn't have that coordination into the team fight, but just himself playing on that Gul'dan was pretty strong.
That's actually a really good point. This may be a choice of Mighty to say, look, in terms of how you guys team fought, it was all NMX, he's your best player, and I'm just going to take away, like, NMX plays ranged DPS. I'm going to take away a ranged DPS that has massive CC because his positioning and his setups were so good. I don't care what DPS he plays because it's not going to be enough if you guys can't follow through or set it up for him. But if he has Horrified, that's a problem, so we're going to remove that specifically.
And they can take away Leaming also, as NMX is pretty good on Leaming. And last time, the Ragnaros variant with Leaming, it worked perfectly. They don't have to change, and this isn't the map they have to change a lot. Looks like Gul'dan and Rehgar was kind of sniped for both sides.
This would have been the map where I would have said, okay, maybe we could see the Medivh ban. This is not the map where I look and say, okay, the Rehgar ban. Both of these second ban rotations for Raven have been a little bit suspect because in a different meta and in a different time, the Rehgar ban would absolutely be smart here. But in this case, it feels like Maya's just like, okay, well, Dasong's really good at Malfurion. Yes, he has played a lot of, or not Malfurion, Karzim. He has played a lot of Rehgar in the past, and especially in older seasons too, but it just feels like it's a little bit off meta here to choose the Rhaegar ban. They're going to take Brightwing instead for the global.
Yep, having the Haka on the other side, I feel like, and also Rhaegar banned from Nasang, which Nasang used a lot, and Malfurion is already taken, or that was the only choice, but I don't think Brightwing had to be their 4th pick. They could have left it out just for the 5th pick, because there is just no way of banning out heroes anymore, and Raven's not going to have 2 supports. So I feel like they could have just picked something else other than a support role to take advantage of the ban picks.
I think what they're looking at here is what sort of tank do they want to choose, like in terms of if they're going to play the same way they last time with kind of a 2 tank with the Ragnaros semi assassin tank kind of hybrid there. Do we want Muradin or do we want Johanna? Let's wait and counter what their last picks are with our tank pick. This is a situation where we could see Raven pick up Sergeant Hammer, to be honest. We've seen them do it a lot so far this season with cooldown removed. It's going to be Nazebo, though, and Muradin coming in, so no Muradin here for Mighty.
Bread and candy right there. And this can give a lot of choice. ETC is, of course, viable, very strong right now in all maps. And they have played ETC sometimes, and having 2 globals also would work.
I think they might have wanted to go Johanna here, but it's unfortunate that it's Nazebo they're up against now, so it makes Johanna a little bit less valuable. Yeah, Thrall just the top solo laner there. They're going to have Thrall and Brightwing rotating. It's going to be a little bit heftier of a top lane here. Look, they have so many heroes they can leave up in the top lane. Like Rag could be left there. Thrall is going to be there when it's a tough matchup, and then Brightwing is going to be there when the tributes spawn. So they have these heroes that could actually get that extra soak. In both Thrall and Ragnaros, even though they're not globals, they're going to be present in that top lane a lot of the time, pushing Dahaka back. Guys, we're going into game number 2. Cursed Hollow Mighty taking that first game pretty dominantly. Can Raven try to come back here? Can they win their first game of the season? We're going to find out right now as we get into game. In blue, Mighty, Joker on Varian, Sands on Thrall, Magi on Liming, Nasong on Brightwing, and STE once more on Ragnaros.
In red, Raven, Joju on Malfurion, Hamlin on Tigers NMX, on Nazebo, Theon on Muradin, H82 on the Haka.
This entire game, I think, will be decided by H82. How well his Dahaka plays in that top lane, how much he can get done up there. The longer the game goes, obviously, the better Nazebo is going to be, as he's going to stack up and eventually become a tanky specialist. He's more of a kind of an AP damage dealer now with his slight rework, as he needs to hit his spiders. When he does do a lot of damage, Magi's going to take some of that damage right now. But Nazebo actually does quite a bit of damage. Like, people don't actually respect how much damage he could do, especially in like a tri-lane like this where he's just kind of poking. As long as he's got mana, he's going to do damage. He's got Joju to help him. We're going to see this rotation with Hamlin. Mighty already sees this Joker is going to check the bush. He gets rooted, unfortunately, and actually may go down for it. In fact, he will. So a good pick there, actually slow rotation by Mighty, or slow reaction by Mighty to that. He probably should have just queued to check the bush instead of getting into range of the root.
Good pick from the beginning, and also using that wall, zombie wall, to just isolate where he can rotate. I feel like he made the right choice, but it was a long way gone, and Brightwing getting caught, it was very close.
Yeah, nearly dying there with that grenade. Probably just going to have to hearth home. Pretty impressive coordination, though, with the CC that Raven has. Like, they have the zombie wall, as you mentioned, the root, the grenade. Pretty impressive bullying there.
Yeah, Nazebo actually does a lot of damage. If Nazebo goes to that Q build, you can take out a Chromie with just a single Q skill. So that's how much damage you can do later on, of course.
So this game is completely the opposite, as it turns out, with how much aggression Raven is using this composition for than what I expected. I thought this game was kind of be an H82 game where we see he tries to get some heavy soak, he pushes the lane, and he's trying to avoid ganks. It's totally the opposite, as Raven is being super aggressive here with this Nazebo pick. You can see he clears camps quite quickly as well. Back in the early stages here of the Stormwind Nazebo. Oh, we're going to see a nice gank attempt here. SDE is going to get that Brightwing assist here.
It looks like the teleport got canceled, or Nasan canceled from coming. It might have been just canceled from that grenade.
Yeah, probably. Ends up, he didn't need it, so it's okay here.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to say, back in the old days of Heroes, Nazebo was kind of like a roamy specialist. Like, he was push turrets, get camps, almost like you see in your Gazlo games, but he's changed to be so much more than what he was at the beginning of Heroes of the Storm. So excited to see him in this pro play here.
It's not the first one, I believe it is the second one from the Korean region. Yes, and Joju getting very low. Mighty rotating at the right time with Raw and Varian coming very nicely, but having Ragnaros, and when the Haka comes into this fight, that will be the change.
Oh, they have a lot of poke here with Li Ming. If things were different in terms of positioning, they might be able to have Brightwing in mid as well to get double soak and then teleport in. But not going to happen for the time being here. DeYoung taking a lot of damage. Joju as well. Definitely a bit of an overextension here. Going to have to back off. DeYoung has his passive, so he can, he's okay to take that damage, but Joju, on the other hand, is going to be really frustrated. Going to have to go home and tap, or down to the bottom lane and tap, I should say. And where is Madi Okuma? He's at the bottom of my screen there. I was going to see how much mana he has. He's got plenty, so they're going to still continue to poke here. And H82 finally finds himself alone in the top lane, which is what he's wanted this entire time, to get that extra soak.
I actually like that positioning of Raven. I thought they had the chance to catch Ragnaros just by trying to catch Ragnaros coming from the side. And it looks like Dehaka actually wants to walk down here and just cancels that going back up. It is 5v4 all the way at the bottom. Maybe it's the time, unless they want to give this first one up.
They're trying to use the spiders to poke here, but I think they're going to have to give it up now. There's no way to get in there anymore. Realistically, I think H82 got 2 free waves on the top. He's going to get a cannon tower here as well. So that's a slight EXP lead, as you guys can see at the top of the screen that they get. But the structural damage is definitely nice there. It's at the cost of a tribute. And Nasong was unable to get extra soak from the Brightwing that they had there, even though they had Sands up there in the top lane. It's actually SDE. I keep saying Sands because he was the only Rag player, and now it's apparently SDE's Hero of the Week. But we'll see if this works out for Raven. They're going to get another set of cannon towers here, this entire fort wall. And I like where that's putting them. They're having these lanes pushed, they're ahead in EXP, and if they can control this tribute, they're going to be even on tributes, and I'd say significantly ahead in the game, as we see a full spider build coming out of Nazebo. Just wanted to point that out. He's going all on that poke.
And a lucky tribute for Mighty, as they actually had the camp pushing the mid lane right now. Raven will be a little pressured to clear that up, as Dehaka is going to that middle lane. It is Nazebo versus Brightwing on the bottom lane, which can be a little problematic fighting over this tribute.
Sure. Well, well, they're just going to let it go. They couldn't get the poke. I was going to say, if they can poke a little bit longer, that H82 could swap down after this wave, and they can send Nazebo up, but unfortunately did not happen. So this is a little bit scary, because everything they've worked to accomplish in this early game can be completely undone by a curse. Because they've gotten 2 walls of forts, well, really 3, I guess, with the top lane. I think they got a lot of that down. And we're going to see a gank attempt here. Mighty's actually going to go in for the kill onto Joju. Gets it.
And with that, Magi gets a reset, and DeYoung also coming around from the back and just getting smashed by Ragnaros and Thrall. No way of going in there. And they've lost their own camp. Looks like Mighty is taking this game back.
Yeah, and like I was going to say, yeah, they haven't gotten as much structural damage, but all it's going to take is a curse. Yeah, they did get the top wall here fully. So 3 walls. Now still down in EXP because of the kill there and the extra soak they got. All they need is this curse, and they take a big lead. They can do more than 3 walls of damage out of that. So it all gets undone in a second.
Yeah, at a perfect time. They just hit 10. Raven also just hit 10. So Nicely done. Having Brightwing and Dehaka at the top lane, they're gonna go all in, picking on Joju, and it is Li Ming blown up from the beginning. Looks like this could go for Raven for the first time.
Definitely so. It's going to be their fight here, at least from the start. Nazebo does go down, however. Sands on his way out. H82 pushes him away. Does not look like it's going to be that curse. Very nicely done there with that silence to get the pick off there onto Magi.
Magi overextended a little bit to get that reset at the last moment, but I don't think that Calamity teleport damage went in at the last moment.
Yeah, I think he was looking for that Calamity, but he was silenced, so he couldn't get it off, and that's I think what ended up being his downfall there. I do have to say that Mighty's targeting on Joju has been superb. Well, they're going to have to be careful once he gets Ice Block to be so ready to commit.
Yeah, that's also the power of Malfury. Usually you get, as a support, you get focus from the beginning of the fight. You have the Ice Block. When they come even near you, you have that Twilight Dream to turn around the team fight. And it looks like DeYoung's going to be a little, the H82's a little more too aggressive. It might actually get picked off here.
Looks like he's going to, get caught with a Sulfuric Smash committed to here, so does end up dying. This may be an opening for a boss steal, but it looks like Mighty's not going to commit quickly to it. Perhaps L5 would have rotated already, delayed and taken it, but they're just going to go up here and try to get the curse. Their boss is pushing. They have Brightwing in this time with the tribute spawn in the opposite lane, so they're going to get that extra soak, and she can teleport in. Speaking of which, here she comes, DeYoung, the first target here. Sundering goes down, but they're not able to pick any targets off.
Sundering just to cancel that channel. That was a lot to not waste it, but to use it on just to stop the channeling. H82 polymorph and getting some damage as the Joker is in danger, not getting that healing, as Brightwing also went down at the same time.
Gargantuan actually did quite a lot in that fight as well.
It did.
And not only heroic to be underestimated, especially not in a gingerbread Gargantuan. That's pretty tasty, man. The boss of the bot will go down, and Raven has tied up the tributes. I have to say, so far, this is definitely the best game we've seen from Raven this season in terms of their coordination. And who'd have thought it would have been with a Nazebo Dehaka comp.
I agree, and I think this double tank, double frontline warrior is really working so much better for Raven, which they could have done so many times, but they ended up picking 3 DPSs. There's way too much damage and not enough tank. And that Zebo, actually a great use of zombie wall there to trap, and this may actually turn it around.
They've got to be careful though. A lot of CC there going down onto DeYoung. He's the one who wants to eat that damage because he's just going to heal it up with his second wind.
Yeah, and all this time H82 has been soaking from the bottom. This is the macro that we exactly wanted to see coming out from Raven, and they're actually... Ooh, they're coming a lot of time into this. Dehaka has been soaking for quite a while at that bottom lane.
Here's the gank attempt. Looks like they were just waiting for Brightwing's teleport. They're going to come in for the insta-polymorph blow up there onto Tychus. You know, a lot of people just think about Brightwing as her soak potential as a global, but she's probably the best ganker in terms of CC, just because you could just instantly polymorph someone. Very difficult to react to that. They're going to get a curse off this, and because Raven lost Tychus, there's just nothing they could do, and they're not even going to think about it, and I don't even think this is a mistake. It's just unfortunate, because this is going to help push Mighty to 16. Raven was ahead in EXP, but this is going to change very quickly.
Yeah, Mighty made the right choice. When you're falling behind, or when you start to fall behind, that's the time the opponent actually gets greedy, gets cocky. So you're looking for a pick, and they made the right choice, having the same talent, just having one down, and Tribute luckily came out right after that.
So H82 is soaking top right now, while Mighty is going to push here into the mid. Joker actually taking a lot of damage. In fact,
if they were not cursed, and if the turret towers actually did some damage, I think Joker might have went down actually. But of course, Joker also would have not positioned himself that far if it was not cursed.
Sure. SDE taking a lot of damage here as well. A lot of cocky moves here from Mighty, but it's going to pay off for them in the end eventually here. Definitely not playing that as perfectly as they could have, but still, they have the curse on their side, and now this Molten Core and it hurt Joju quite a bit. He actually dodges the smash, at least there.
But Taika's already blown up, and he just came back from home. I mean, he just respawned, and he went a little bit too, like, he just went like half a step more, and he died right after. Dehaka has been soaking some EXP on top, but not too much. So that's gonna be in favor for Mighty for sure, as they're gonna look for to hit that level 16 a little before Raven would do.
Okay, curse point still for Raven. They are going to look for a fight right beforehand. You can see NMX, if you look at his health bars, he's got a little bit tankier, but he's not quite, you know, it's not the scary Nazeebo yet. He's committed fully to Spider. He's got his own ice block now as well, so he can dive in and throw his spiders out right in the middle of the fight without fear of getting locked in by stuns. He needs to be careful of Polymorph, of course, and the taunt, but he has ice block, so as long as he doesn't have either ice block or the taunt on him, if he's rooted, he can ice block, he can get out of that while doing a ton of damage in the first. His burst can blow Leeming up. Magi is going to have to be careful about that at the start of these fights.
And just a tip on Nazeebo, you can also use that zombie wall to protect yourself, to have yourself in the wall just for a few seconds, and having that ice wall will an extra. And that Wave of Force did miss. But look, they're looking for a pick on Sands, but Gray's thundering, but there's a catch from HGC. Nice kill.
So really almost a double kill in terms of value because they use the Sundering there, so it's not going to be available when he respawns. Mighty does get the top fort at the same time. We're even on talent tiers, but this is a big win for Raven, absolutely, as NMX just continues to stack up more health here, clearing this mid lane or even in keeps. And they have the curse you know, available with one more tribute. All that NMX needs to do is go top and clear. And I think, oh, this is a great choice of mine. I was going to say, I think Raven could try to boss here and give this tribute since they're already on curse point, but Mighty is going to turn the tables on them with this rotation to boss right away. And Raven will get the curse as a result, but it's not going to be as effective when they have to deal with that boss.
Yeah, I don't think Raven 100% realizes this is going on, and now they obviously they do. And they're rotating up, trying to get some picks.
It's funny because now Raven's like, oh, well, I want to get their boss, but I already rotated the other side, and I'm kind of stuck in this awkward position. They are going to get the pick here onto Magi, it looks like. Oh, will he get out? Nasong tries to save him. There's a stun. Nasong survives miraculously here somehow. Magi as well. And for a little bit longer, that is to say, as Nasong finally dead here. With Curse available, these are not firing, similar to what we had in our last situation here. But the boss is still pushing the top lane.
Yeah, exactly. They're still trading SD going into Molten Core. That's going to stop them for sure, doing a lot of damage with those skills.
That cleanse got so much value. It did. We see a silence go off here. Magi actually gets a kill and tries to use that teleport to get away. And MX uses his ice block, but dies, and Magi dodges DeYoung briefly there.
But did not have mana or could not get out of that. And Boss, this entire time, has been pushing. Raven does have a lead in the XP, but Mighty after this curse, I think they are the ones that can actually soak up so much EXP, as they're not losing too much, but they are losing some in the bottom lane.
They're not losing very much. They have a lot available, and you can just see SD comes over here to clean this and push them closer to 20. They got the keep. Raven had a curse and lost a keep and lost EXP because of the curse. So this was definitely a big win for Mighty. And there wasn't, like, as soon as they were unable to realize the boss, it was almost nothing Raven could do because they had to commit to the curse. They couldn't just give the curse up and go defend boss. The Mighty gets the tribute as well. They couldn't take Mighty's boss because they weren't in position to do so. So it was a good decision by Mighty, which basically gives them a keep here and wastes the curse of Raven. Even though they got 3 kills, they weren't able to get a keep, so they're going to have this lead right now with 20. Maybe they're going to group up and try to boss. They have Dahaka on top. He can just come down. He got them 20.
Yep, knowing that Raven positioning and even rewind on just to get a pick on Magi. Let's see if that works. It does not. Magi does not go down.
That was
rewind was used already.
That was pretty optimistic, that rewind right there. That was real optimism.
Yeah, and for a second I thought I saw something weird.
You were like, is that a glitch or something?
Like,
what's happening? Yeah, no, he used rewind there, but didn't get the pick, which means rewind's off cooldown. They're coming in here now to evade the bruises. They just wanted to have a level 20 fight. Unfortunately, 20 is for their opponents now as well. Look at adaptation here for HGC, but he goes down. Big silence and a nice ice block as well. SDE trying to find something here.
And Mighty is actually very low. Great placement of that laser draw. I think that changed a lot. Even when Mighty actually had a great thundering wave of force to this just isolate all of them. Raven kept them together, brought that team fight back.
Remember the name of the ability there for Ragnaros. It's like his own fire block, but not an ice block there by SDE. Survived a little bit longer, tried to do more. But this is a big win for Raven. Look, they won this fight at 20. They were trying to take a fight before 20. Mighty was patient, but they still win the conclusions. They win this fight. They're going to steal this boss. Joker taking a ton of damage here. Storm Shield having to be popped here in order to try to save him. I still don't know if it's going to be enough. He uses his banner as well. He will get away, but they lose the boss. Raven will need to send someone home to deal with that top push and then set up to keep here. I don't know if... Okay, Dahaka's about to respawn, so Dahaka could deal with that when he respawns and then just use his Brush Stalker to come down here. Raven's going to try to make this a keep for a keep. Raven is so close to winning the first game here. I mean, this is the closest they've ever been. This is the closest game they've ever played. This could be it, G-Clef.
Yep, this could be it, and this keep is pretty healthy, and Ragnaros goes into the Molten Core. They're looking for a chance here, and that wave of force to dislocate NMX is in trouble, and there goes down Nazebo.
Yeah, that's the power of propulsion. It's pretty strong. It's a huge radius. There's nothing they can do to save this keep, despite the fact that they got the pick onto NMX. But their core is losing shields back at home. So let's see what what Mighty decides to do here. In terms of tributes, this tribute is not the most significant because we're at 0 of 3 on both sides. Core doesn't lose any health. They could try to 5-man and start sieging up the core using Brightwing to clear bot, but instead, looks like they're just going to steal bruisers and take the tribute. It's a win for Mighty, all things considered, after losing their keep. Wasn't much they could have done about that one. And Raven's going to have NMX up in 15 seconds. The next thing I think that may decide this game is going to be the next boss play. Oh, DeYoung is caught here. Needs a Dwarf Toss away. Close call there. They're going to push this keep with the bruisers. 3 seconds until NMX is up. Raven wants to get a kill or two here to turn this around for them because they're going to lose the keep, it looks like, no matter what. Down it goes.
And I believe Molten Core is still on cooldown just by a little bit. They could have been like full aggressive going to that Molten Core, but Nazebo was back, so safe choice. And looks like this will be the game-ending decision for both teams as Joker places himself near the boss already.
Yeah, this is the boss I was talking about. Okay, taunt again here onto DeYoung, and he's going to get blown up. This time they get the combo with Sulfuric Smash, and now it's a 5v4. Raven needs to somehow win a 4v5 fight, or they're going to lose this game. Joker going in. Great sundering here from Sans. Nice ice block to keep Joju alive. He has to bolt away as well. Joker's going to go down. It's a 4v4 now. This is Raven's opportunity. They're on the chase here now. SDE very low. Gonna get that gargantuan pack into the fight as the spiders chase here. And it looks like we have a neutral exchange. H82 is gonna go take the tribute. We're gonna go one-on-one on tributes, and Mighty will not be able to boss from this.
Yep, both teams trading 1-1.
Look at the bot lane too. That's scary.
Taka actually went all the way down there just to get the tribute, and they can actually try to go for a boss. I think Raven has the higher chance of taking that boss because losing Varian, the strong front line, and having no taunt to follow up with any other CCs, I think that's bigger for Mighty.
Look, NMX is almost a tank at this point. I mean, we're 20 minutes in and he's Nazebo.
Yeah, Nazebo, yes, Nazebo basically is
a frontliner now.
Yes.
He's got Ice Block. I think it's on cooldown, but this is a win for Raven in terms of this fight, and the core is now under attack. For Raven, Muradin has respawned, is heading back.
Yep, Muradin is coming back, and Varian still 2 seconds on the clock. I think Raven can actually try. They can burst down this boss or even try to get some picks before Varian joins the fight.
Look, I mean,
Varian actually cannot join the fight because the bottom wave is just so close to the core. Looks like Raven's gonna go in before there's that Twilight Dream does miss.
Yeah, that Twilight Dream missing is a really painful cleanse trying to save NMX here. He's tanky, but he's not that tanky. And now Sans is back here. Here comes Joker. There's the taunt. They're going to blow up Tychus immediately. Joju's going to be the next to fall here. Avoids the missile somehow. But that means resets for days here for Magi. And this fight will finally go in favor of Mighty. A close game here, the closest we've seen for Raven so far this season. But they will lose the game at the end of all things.